If you are a frequent raider in Final Fantasy XIV, then you are probably pretty familiar with this dish. However, I bet you didn't know that it's actually based on a real Brazilian dish of the same name. Moqueca is a Brazilian seafood stew comprised of a few different ingredients such as shrimp or fish, cilantro, and red bell peppers, just to name a few. The origin of the stew is unknown, but what we do know is that it seems to resemble a Portuguese pre-colonial dish with modern versions using African ingredients like palm oil and coconut milk that had been brought into the region by Portuguese slave traders. Since Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail seems to be heavily inspired by Latin America, it only makes sense that this dish would show up in some fashion, and most use this dish as raid food to boost your determination, vitality, and critical hit stats for up to 60 minutes. But enough about what the dish is, let's make it and see why it's so popular among the Warriors of Light. To begin, we need to prep our shrimp or fish if you're using fish. My butcher was out of cod, so I'm using fresh shrimp here. We'll need to pat the shrimp as dry as possible and then place it into a bowl. Then add the zest and juice of a lime and a pinch of salt. Gently massage everything, mix it together until everything's nice and coated, and then set this aside while we prep the rest of our vegetables. We need to dice up 1 medium carrot, 1 red bell pepper, 1 jalapeno, 1 tomato, and 4 garlic cloves. Set these aside for later use into a giant bowl. Next, you want to finely dice up an onion. You can use red, white, or yellow onions here. I chose to use a red onion because that's what I had left after making a chicken salad the other day. Then you'll place this in a bowl to the side. Now finally, grab a bunch of cilantro and chop that into small pieces and just go to town on it. You want to have about a half cup or so of this. Now that you have everything prepped and ready, get your heaviest saucepan or Dutch oven and preheat it over medium-high heat. Then add a splash of olive oil, or if you have palm oil, you can use that as well. Add the red onion and salt and saute for a few minutes until the onion gets cooked down a little bit. Now turn your heat down to medium and add in the diced bell pepper, the carrots, the garlic, and the jalapeno, and the tomato. Cook for about 5 more minutes until everything gets nice and combined. Now we need to add in a tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 whole cup of fish or chicken stock. Give this a good mix and let it come to a simmer, and then add in tomatoes and cover on medium-low heat until the carrots are nice and tender. School just let out, so my daughter decided to come over and help me finish this dish. So I do have a helper for the rest of this video. As far as the carrots go, you don't want them too mushy, you just want them fork tender. This should only take about 5 or 6 minutes. Once the carrots are softened a bit, add in a 14-ounce can of coconut milk and more salt if needed. Just always taste and add seasoning as needed, but be careful because you can always add, but you can never take away. So just always taste your food as you're cooking it. Now it's time for the shrimp to go in for a swim in the stew. So easily and carefully drop your shrimp into the Dutch oven along with the juice from the bowl. Make sure all of the shrimp is as submerged as you can get it and let it cook until it's done. This should take up another 7 or 8 minutes or so. You just want to make sure all the shrimp is cooked through and no longer gray. Once the shrimp is cooked, give it another taste test and add salt again if needed. This is a bit of a sweet dish because of the coconut milk and stuff, so if you want to add some salt, now is your chance to do that. This, in my opinion, is best served over a nice bed of rice or with a nice piece of crusty bread and then topped with some extra cilantro and a lime wedge or two to squeeze extra lime juice on the dish as needed. The lime here, to me, really helped bring the dish to life. So I definitely recommend adding just a lime wedge or so and then just squeezing over top of everything whenever you go to eat it. This should make enough for about 4 servings with the nutrition listed here. As the in-game description says, this creamy and spicy stew is a staple throughout Toliolo and owes its popularity to its flavorful broth. And I can agree that this broth is much better than I was expecting because I'm not a huge fan of coconut milk or coconut water or just coconut in general, but it really tasted delicious. And the fact that my daughter's eating it is crazy, and she even gave it a thumbs up. So this is actually much better than I was expecting it to be honest. Now that we've had our raid food and we are raid ready, I think it's time to get back in there and take on the Cloud of Darkness Chaotic Raid. Thank you so much for watching, and for more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe. There's a new video every week, like this one here where I made steak and eggs from Monster Hunter Wilds. I'll see you over there. Peace.